Earl and Lynn won't be here today. I think Earl forgot about
Earl
it. Just
and,
drove into
Lynn.
garage. Lynn's been working some strange hours. We have a quorum.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Any additions or deletions?
Yes.
I gave you a copy of a couple things that you possibly need to be added.
Okay, we have,
I'm sorry.
It was an additional, but it's an additional that's first going to go to the July meeting because it wasn't turned in time to advertise for the June meeting. And see, the claim you turned in, you had said to hold for August claims to pay in August.
No, for July, for the two autopsies.
Well, but see
That's
it.
okay. Could-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the additional.
Jacoby can wait.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the note that's on it to wait for August, because when this was turned in on the 13th, it still, it wasn't in time to advertise the
That's fine.
10 days and,
That's
yeah.
fine.
Because we have to do it 10 days before the meeting.
Okay, so we can't do a tentative on that one?
It'll still come before you in July.
July.
I mean, if it's,
Sure.
the only way a tentative would be is that we can get the bills paid at the 1st of July instead of the 1st of August, is what a tentative would do. So that's up to you guys when it comes to it.
okay, we have two additions for sure here. Auditor Pam Goffnet request to fill position and position change. And then consulting service, Baker Tilly for the ARB committee. So those are two additions. Did you have something?
I have one, a discussion regarding comp time from employees that transfer from one department to the other. I think there needs to be a little discussion.
Discussion on
that.
comp time for transfer employees within the courthouse. Okay, any other additions or deletions? If not, I would ask for a motion to,
If no one else has any additional deletions and no one has signed to speak or comments, I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second
all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, the next item is transfers from radio repair maintenance to equipment repair within the Perry County Highway Department of $74,402.08.
That was
I think that was just a,
Change of
the
title.
transfer that you guys approved last time.
Right.
Appropriating
you just had a change in the title of the
that. Yes,
line item.
because it allows us to be
Any discussion?
No. I'll make a motion.
it. I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have an additional appropriation, motor vehicle highway fund, health insurance, $100,000. That was some sort of transfer the last time, wasn't it?
There was, yes. And this here, this is whenever we transferred it out of surplus, surtax, and wheel, put it into the highway money, and this is the step that got missed that we need now, because the cash is in there, but now we need to appropriate it for the health insurance for the way it comes out for the payroll.
How far will this carry you, Steve?
Well, we've got, what we've done is put $100,000 in third wheel every year to use for insurance. I think it's altogether $240,000 a year, but we've got it in other funds, we've got enough for the insurance, but this LAO system wouldn't take it out of third wheel, so we had to transfer it into here. There's a reason
Okay.
for doing that.
It's the new software that caused it. Have a motion?
I'll make the motion we allow it.
I'll second
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have Prosecutor Jason Hope to request to fill a full-time position. Somebody's retired. He's on.
Yes, sir. The position's come open as the office manager, the prosecutor's office. Kelly Wilgus, her last day is tomorrow, and she's taking a job here at the courthouse with the auditor's office, so I would request that I be allowed to fill that position, please.
Got a question, Dave. Why if these jobs are allocated for, or what, well, what's the reasoning that they can't be filled versus having to come, is there a possibility we're gonna do away with the job, or?
No, I think it's more or less just to keep the council informed on what's going on, you walk into an office and there's a new employee and you
I mean,
knew
it's just
nothing
like,
about it.
with Pam having openings and what have you, the jobs are gonna be, if it's just a matter of informing, I guess it's all right.
That you wanted.
Yeah,
We voted to do that.
We did a freeze, Keith, several years ago, that before they could hire, other than the sheriff's department and the health department now, any department that lost an employee, they had to come before the council for the approval to advertise. So that was, this council did that several years ago.
I think it's working pretty well.
I think so too. I think it's excellent.
It does keep us more informed,
No, it also it has the potential to handcuff that department to not be able to post that job. And they gotta fight and struggle
well,
versus getting it posted and getting somebody hired for the job.
we normally, if it doesn't work within, I think this person just recently resigned probably.
Yes.
So it kind of worked with our meeting, and if it doesn't, we always call a special meeting to
meeting.
accommodate them, so it really doesn't hold them up. I think it's a good thing.
I agree.
Has Kelly then been hired then in the auditor's office, or does that have to be posted somewhere?
No, that position was approved at the last
At
meeting.
the last meeting, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the advertising for this position.
A second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
I need to abstain.
Okay. We have one abstention and 4 ayes. Or, did you
I don't have a problem.
I know.
hiring
Who
them.
abstained?
I abstain.
Paul?
I just,
I have a relative in the office, so that's why.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Next, update on redemption of detention center bonds. The redevelopment authority met on June 2nd, or June 8th, and to discuss the redemption of Perry County Redevelopment Authority Economic Development Income Tax Lease Rental Bonds of 2012. And I think they did sign the initial paperwork to start that redemption process as of August 1st, 2022. And I think Pam will be paying the final lease payment a little early, maybe save us a little money. Like-
No, it will cost us a little bit in the interest.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's not gonna be that much, it's only like a week, so that way we can
You'll
get
be
it
doing
paid
that
out.
in July.
Instead of waiting until August the 1st or July 31st, where I have to make a bond payment by July 15th. And Jason said this way, if I want to go ahead, which would be best for us, that way I can just go ahead and make everything, pay it off on July 15th, instead of waiting then, and it's just going to be a week's worth of interest. And he said it wouldn't amount to that much.
So that is in the works. It's
And
Moving.
it's my understanding that the tax will still be implemented next year, or we will receive
We'll
that
collect
money
that.
one more year because they're a year and behind.
I'm not sure on
tax.
that. We do collect the money through the end of this year, but we were checking
Yeah,
for
I don't know if we've
anything
gotten-
next year.
I don't know if we've gotten
We haven't gotten-
clarification on that yet.
Jason was checking with
Okay.
the state on that.
All right. So are we looking to vote on this in July meeting?
Vote on,
Oh, do we have to make any type of vote on this?
No.
So-
done deal, it is.
we already did this
Okay,
at the last, it was in March, I think.
Yeah.
all right.
I was just updating it, just
Okay.
show you where we're at.
Oh, it says that, Jake. Sorry, David.
Just an update.
The next item is discussion on change in local income tax rate. Okay, once this bond is paid off, our tax rate will drop by 0.5. So we go from 1.81 to 1.31, but we were talking of doing a .02 for public safety to help fund the PSAP and a .02 for certified shares. Then we were also talking about doing a .05 to establish a permanent building fund
Yes, that's what we're
to
talking about.
maintain all county buildings in the future. So Jason Simler of Baker Tilly has offered to help us institute that tax rate change if we so desire. So after all said and done, our tax rate would drop from 1.81 to 1.4.
1.40,
Yes,
so it was .02, 02, and .05?
right.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, because you're decreasing by .5 and then you're increasing by .09. So it makes a net decrease of .41, so it becomes 1.4.
Okay.
And I would like to see that we get this done by, I think we have to have it done by November 1st in order to have this effective January 1st, 2023.
Yeah, this would be a good thing. We've been waiting, or looking for years, counties have to get some kind of building maintenance fund or something like that.
I think it will add probably right now it would add probably roughly 200,000 a year.
Yeah.
That would fall into that fund.
Be a good thing.
I'll keep you updated.
Okay.
Next item is tax abatements, ATTC and IMPA. These were tax abatements that council has approved in prior years. We haven't done any since, I think, 2018.
Not
Was that
any
the
new
last
ones,
time?
yeah.
Any new ones?
Not new ones.
But we have, there's one with NM Municipal Power Agency, and it's in, I'm going to read the year that we're in as far as tax abatement. These are all like 10-year abatements, but NM Municipal Power Agency, it's in year 7 at 40%. And then the next, we have 20 of these, and the next 19 are all ATTC manufacturing. And the first one, we have a real estate phase 5, which are 10 years, or they're in the 10th year at 5%. So those go away after this year. Then we have a phase 6 ATC manufacturing real estate, and it's in its 10th year at 5%. Then we go to personal property. The next, all the others are personal property, and there are 4 years at 55, another one 4 years 55, 4 at 55%, 4 at 55, 4 at 55. We have 1 at 5, no, 2 at 5 at 60%, 1 at 6 years at 50%, another one at 5 years at 60%, and then we have 3 more at 6 years at 50%, and then we have 1 at 8 years at 30%, and then, well, we have 2 at 8 years at 30%, and then we have, for some reason, this one has 8 and 9 years at 30 and 20%, and then we had 1 at 10 years, which is at 10%. So we have 4 of these that will be going away after this year. Of course, now that property is pretty much depreciated, so it might increase our tax a little bit. But
Only question I have is on the Indiana Municipal Power. When they gave their proposed total cost there, how accurate was that? The original paperwork they submitted, was I think there was issues with that paperwork being the original assessed value and the assessed value didn't match up.
I think that all got straightened out.
yeah, that was straightened out. I think Luke mentioned that in 2019, we had an issue with IMPA over a clerical error on the assessed valuation and sent it back to them.
Yes.
And so I think that was resolved. And it's in its final year, I think. So it's gone after this year.
What year was that?
10,
No, that there.
2019. But we have to, Pam had submitted, or sent these to you, the CF1s, along with a certified SB1 for us to review. And they have to follow the CF1 by May 15 to stay in compliance with the original abatements filed. And the CF1, as I said, filed for the county for Indiana Municipal Power was for personal property, and then real and personal property for ATTC. And as far as I can see, they all seem to be in compliance as to filing their CF1s on time. They were all filed by May 15.
Yes.
And if everyone's okay, we can vote for the Indiana Municipal Power as one, then we can take all the ATTCs as one.
I make a motion, we just vote on all of them at once.
Well, we probably need to separate them.
However you want to
Different
do it.
companies.
I don't know, I guess you can do it that way.
I don't know, you know, I guess gotta have a second, so if nobody seconds it, I guess.
So Keith
Vote on
votes on
seven.
all of them?
No.
If it's just.
Pam is making a difference for your recording if you do it all at once or
Nope.
separate them out?
No?
Okay.
Keith made a motion, I'll second it.
So Keith, it was for all of them?
All of them at once.
All approved?
Yeah.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. That makes it a lot easier.
Okay, next item is Auditor Pam Goffner, request to fill position and position change.
Yeah, we'll go do separate. We'll do it all right.
Well, Pam was mad and was leaving.
Okay, council members. First off, I'm here asking to fill another vacancy for the split position in my office that will be coming vacant in the next 2 weeks with my employee transferring to another office. This position is currently shared with the assessor's office. I also want you to know that I have a fourth employee interviewing for a position outside of county government now. If this happens, that will only leave 2 of us in my office at this time to do any training going forward with our own work and deadlines that we have to meet. These openings have snowballed since there were 2 openings in other offices that took place earlier with people leaving. I am asking also to change the split position that I have with the assessor's office back to a full-time position in the auditor's office. At budget time 3 years ago, I offered to cut one of my full-time positions down to help the county out, but also under the assumption that if it didn't work, I would have the full-time position back. I asked for the full-time position back last year at budget time, and it was turned down. We have given our best shot at this, and with the workload in my office, I need the full-time position back immediately. I have talked with my employees, and the main reason they are leaving is because of the amount of workload versus the pay that these positions are paying and the uncertainty for next year. The auditor's office is a very crucial office to county government. We have major jobs that require a lot of responsibility and time, such as payroll, HR, all the benefits, claims process, budget process, receiving all the county money, tax deductions, excise, D-transfers, which since the beginning of the year, we have had 479 D-transfers that have come through our office, sometimes 18 in one day, besides trying to do our other work. And property tax preparation that involves sending money out to the local units that depend on these tax dollars that they receive from the county to survive on theirs. There are so many of our jobs that are demanded from the state with accountable deadlines that have to be met. We are an office that has many multiple jobs to do rather than one main function in the office. So respectfully, I am asking for these 2 requests to be granted, and also the permission to hire and fill the other position if it comes open before the next council meeting in July.
We do not know anything. Mindy is on vacation, so we don't know if she's still going to need a part-time person.
That was what I was wondering.
I don't know. I have told her that I was asking for this. I did let her know that I was requesting the full-time position to be asked for tonight. And I guess I would suspect that if she is looking to, wants the part-time yet, that she would be approaching you at the next meeting if this was granted, which I am very hopefully that it will be.
Another thing that's going to come down in their department here shortly is, hopefully, we're going to be giving out this ARP money, and they're going to be responsible for cutting checks on
Yes.
that, so that's another added.
Another added
Yeah.
responsibility. And it's not only that, guys. I mean, I'm also looking at that I may be needing money for training, because with everybody leaving, me and Susan cannot do all the training on our own. I mean, we are going to be the only two left, and with her doing claims and with all my responsibilities that I have to meet, budgets is coming up right now, there is no way the two of us can try to train all these girls and still do our work and get everything met in time.
So if you do this full-time, then you will have what?
5 full
5
times.
full-time?
What would the, just a rough guesstimation of the cost for the next 6 months for that position to be full-time?
Well, the position is full-time right now, but it's split with the assessor's
That's what I'm
office.
saying. But you pay.
Probably a
for
half a year. I think that position's paid maybe 28 something. So I would say just the salary alone, probably 14 something.
$15,000
Yeah.
roughly.
Then you have benefits.
Right, with the benefits and stuff too. Plus the benefits, I'm just saying the salary alone.
Right, first year.
But then you have a savings.
I mean, I understand her,
Right.
you know, especially.
I mean, it has always been full-time in my office, and I offered to change this 3 years ago, and we have given it the best shot we can, but with the workload and even, 3.5 hours, 4 hours a day right now is all I'm getting. And that is only 20 hours a week, which is less than the part-time people. I'm losing 416 hours a year that I need somebody to, some of these jobs that we're trying to double duty on with all of our other work, to spread out.
My biggest
And-
concern is you spending the time to thinking somebody's gonna be a good employee and you train them and then they quit showing up.
And that, I know, and that still could be a possibility. I can't guarantee on that.
I know, that's dark and eye.
The pay, I'm sorry, but they are leaving because they are realizing that the pay's higher out there versus the job responsibility that I have. And payroll and claims processing especially are two important jobs in my office that, I'm sorry, the pay is not enough for those girls for what they do on those two jobs to make sure that it's getting out.
Well, and we've discussed this, that possibly on the next budget, that we look at that position and separate it from the deputies and increase that
I
salary.
plan on doing that whenever I'm submitting my budgets.
I think that would be a wise thing to do.
But I'm truly am asking again, because it's just getting too much for us. And with the deeds, because we've got to stop and do them. We can't just let those hold. I'm already right now, I've got jobs I may have to let sit right now until I can get girls trained. And with what Susan's got and I've got, it's going to be hard for me and her to get all this training done. And if once I get these positions filled, I may have to have somebody to come in and help train some of these girls with everything else we got. I'm going to try to work that out the best within my own budget with the time frame of the 2 weeks notice and different things, that maybe I'll have some extra there that I can try to see if I've got the money for the training. But I may have to, well, I'm hoping that I can get one of the girls that's leaving to see if, with their time straight, if it would work.
Okay.
And the other thing-
I haven't approached her yet, but I'm hoping that could be a possibility. But I'm not going to do that until I know I've got all my positions filled and see where I'm at, because mainly she's going to be first starting out is training payroll, because that's the first thing that is the first major thing that has to get trained is payroll, because that's one of my positions that's leaving, and I've got to have payroll trained.
You don't have anyone for that yet, do you? Or-
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Yes, that one is. But it's still, then I've got everything else. My tax people, which is involving all of our D-transfers.
Can we ask who the new hire was?
Huh?
Can we ask who the new hire was?
Kelly,
Okay,
that Jason
Kelly.
talked about, yes. She approached me, and I've already talked to her, and she is willing to take payroll. So,
She's gonna take Tasha's job.
yes, yeah, she will fill in that
Well,
position.
My other concern is next year, there's gonna be a new person come into that office,
Mhm.
and you're gonna have all these new people. So that's gonna be a disadvantage for whoever comes into that office. We need to do, like I said, we always worry about tomorrow, we don't worry about the future. We need to worry about that for the future of that office.
Well, I hope whoever comes in there next year would be willing to hopefully keep the girls that are in there that know the jobs, because the position I am in now, I never thought I would be in. And it takes a lot of training for my office to know the jobs and to learn them. It's not a thing that you can learn overnight. I'm still learning, and after all the time I've been there.
So where would we come up with this additional funding?
You mean for the full-time?
For the, if we
Full-time?
go ahead and vote to,
Well, if it's,
Well, we just said,
depending on what
yeah.
Mindy
And say,
does.
because this is one of my questions too, if you guys grant this, I would like for you to do an intent, so that way I can make sure I can get this going.
Well, we can't wait on, I mean, Mindy's, you know, she's not here. If she wants to continue her part-time position,
She's
she
just
can
gonna have to come.
she can come and ask me to hire a part-time employee. Our biggest concern, I think, right now is to figure out how we can come up with this $15,000 to make that part-time job a full-time job in the auditor's office.
Is there anybody in the riverboat?
There is,
there's 100.
but you're then looking at taking payroll from there, because we can't transfer that out to another fund.
What do we have in general? Is there enough to cover that?
There should be. I just gave you guys all the financial report that has the May additional appropriations, so it's got your unappropriated fund balances at the bottom for the end of May.
576,000
Mm-hmm,
after circuit breaker.
yeah.
And I will make a motion that we approve changing the part-time to full-time.
And Mindy, well,
Money from general.
the only thing I would think that you would maybe want to add to your motion, the request, I'm not saying you've got to, but.
And you're saying,
Mindy's part-time job is Mindy's concern.
Well, I
She
think
would need to come-
realized it, because at one time, it was two different.
That's what, but this, the job, the person that Pam's wanting to replace is,
Going from.
Is the split.
Is the part-time person.
is the
going
split
full-time
position to
in
go to
Mindy's.
full-time,
Yeah.
correct?
so you, you thought you should add that, you know, that that's the job you're.
Sure.
Can I make a comment? This is a bigger issue than trying to find money. You need to find out why people are transferring and quitting these jobs. Exactly.
According to the handbook, the department heads should have an exit interview. I took it on myself to talk to one and cause problems. So I am saying that the department heads need to.
And I did. I have sat down and talked with my girls, and that's why I gave you the reasons.
I overstepped my boundaries on that, and I did not realize the handbook said that, and I did find it in the handbook when I was researching other things.
I mean, just sitting here, there's 3 departments, but people going back and forth and quitting.
Mhm.
So I would get to the bottom of it and find out why.
Well, we had the same issue with Alan and as jail officers.
Well, the best part about allowing Pam to hire 3 is
It can't be money
Likely,
if they're transferring.
she can
offices,
keep-
correct?
1 or 2 of them's going to end up being good or better than good employees. Otherwise, you know, if you can only hire 1 at a time,
Yeah.
you're gonna run out of time.
So they're not transferring for more money because they're not making more money.
Not when they transfer, but,
No.
yeah.
So they do because
Well,
of less
that's
work.
completely. We had an employee in the assessor's office who's been here 11 years that left completely.
Right.
That really should be the concern. Why
Well,
somebody
and-
that's been here 11 years.
And probably
decides
her
to leave?
wage outside here is probably more than what she's making here.
Yeah.
Restate your motion, Charlie,
Okay,
please.
well, my motion is that we go ahead and approve changing the part-time to full-time. Do you want me to add the motion to take the difference out of the general fund?
It would be an
That's one
intent.
motion?
It would be an
Yeah.
intent because I don't have it in front of you right
Okay,
now.
so let's split this up. I make a motion that we change the part-time to full-time. That's my motion one.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
My
5-0.
second motion is an intent to transfer money out of general fund to cover the salary and whatever other benefits.
Well, the benefits are already
Right.
taken
It's
care of, they're already
already-
built
okay.
in.
So that's my second motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Okay, so now it's filling the positions. That, now I need the granting that I can fill these positions because you guys did the
Well, I'll make that
position
motion.
changes.
I'll make that motion. I mean, you gotta fill them.
Okay, and now are you looking at the one if my fourth one leaves also?
I-
That way I don't
gotta
have to
fill 'em.
come back and we don't have to have a
Whatever-
special meeting?
Whatever openings you have, you gotta
Because
fill.
I think it could
Okay.
happen before your next
Keith, Make the
meeting.
motion that you approve hiring any openings between now and
July meeting?
the July meeting. That'll cover everything.
Yeah, I mean, she's gotta, you know, we can't keep running in there.
Yeah.
You've gotta get your jobs, you've gotta run your office.
We can always revisit.
And we can always worry, you know, with the budget, we'll cross that bridge
We'll come
next
to it.
year.
So you make that motion?
Keith made the motion, I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you so much, guys.
I mean, she's gotta run her office. She can't run it by herself.
One more question. Didn't you guys hire a consultant to do job descriptions?
Mhm.
Yes, and they are working on that.
They are working on
The
that?
job descriptions are done, and they are in the process
But
now.
doing the salary.
I've talked to them,
Salary.
and that is being pushed ahead. They are working on
So
that.
when that gets completed, what's the next step?
Well, it's hopefully should be done and given to them before budget time.
It's probably going to show where we're underpaying and we probably won't have any money
We can't
to
afford to lose
raise it.
people is all I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
We know that.
It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, occasionally,
I know
an
that.
employee here and there, it's one thing, but when you lose your whole office, it's true.
We've tried to.
That's the way the world is.
Slowly.
It is being pushed forward, because I have checked on that.
I think wages have increased, you know, like McDonald's, Walmart.
Will of the department.
So much of that, so much food money too. So much
And
food.
county is limited, they can't match some of those
The county is
increases.
also looking for a lot of funding out there that they're not applying for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grants out there that you guys need to really start considering. So you can offset some of this cost for the positions.
Okay, next we have consulting services for our Baker Tilly, for ARP committee. I'm assuming, doesn't the commissioner need to approve?
Well, that's what we talked about, that if this board does a tentative approval of this pending what the commissioner's outcome is, we could speed it up. You know, we've been dragging our feet too long, and Tara is probably here to speak on that.
But do we have any of the spending power? I thought the commissioners were spending all that money.
Pardon?
I thought the commissioners was the ones.
No, the council's in charge of that funding now. We're the final say, but we're taking it from the ARP committee to the commissioners to the council. We want the three-tier system.
May I approach?
Okay, I'm sorry, Tara. Yes,
May I approach?
sorry.
No problem, no problem. Yes, so to echo what Charlie said, just today I received 3 emails from folks wanting to know, hey, you know, we submitted a long time ago, back in January even, or whenever we were doing this, and it's been on hold. And I know communities, I have cities, towns, and counties of my clients, and they've already got their money out the door to folks. So we have, and this is even after their second tranche. We have received our second tranche, and we still have it sitting there. So we need to get this out to the hands of the people that really need it. You know, there's folks that they've had to shut down because they couldn't get it. There's folks that need repairs done because they couldn't do them during the COVID.
They didn't have the revenue, so the sooner we get this rolling, the better for everybody.
I guess we could,
Tentatively
Tentatively
approve this
approve this
pending the outcome of the commissioners.
commission.
Commissioners meeting, okay.
Yeah.
That would be.
Has
my
Chris
motion.
July
reviewed,
5th.
did Chris
Okay.
end up reviewing, or did the attorneys review this?
Well, I gave it to Chris. Chris never got back to us in time for the commissioners meeting, so it didn't get on the commissioners' agenda. So I did get it to Rod, because
Okay.
I really thought Randy was taking care of this because it went to him too. And then I found out it wasn't, so that's why I've been hurriedly
Okay.
trying to get it done. Rod did reply.
Rod does say he has had the opportunity to review the proposed consulting service agreement provided by Baker Tilly with respect to the American Rescue Plan Fund's usage. It appears in order and would benefit in evaluation. Only caveat is perhaps a specific amount of no more than 20 to 25,000 over the course of the year might be helpful.
Because then you have to go out for bid or something, isn't that?
Yeah, I think so.
It says partners bill out at 525
Right.
per hour.
50,000,
So
okay.
that's what he would suggest.
And this was
Change to that.
1% of the total amount, wasn't it, Pam?
Yes,
The
37,500 would be
The total.
1% of.
And this is to relieve the burden on the auditor's office
Right, exactly.
primarily, and to assist the
Yes.
committee.
Okay.
Plus, it's going to assure, hopefully, that you're doing everything right.
That's the
Exactly.
bottom line.
On
You
those
don't want
ones.
to pay this out, give this out, and then it comes back and they say,
Right.
you violated this, you've
It's a
got to
pretty
pay
small
it back.
amount.
I'll be
Okay.
honest with you, there's a lot of communities, no matter what happened in final rule, they did the exact same thing we did, and they just sent it out. And we really need to get going on it, so
I
I
agree.
appreciate you guys expediting all of this, and
What's your recommendation, Terry? Do you recommend that we go with Baker?
I mean, we're already working with them. I think we have a lot of questions. I can't do the administration. I would love to, but I can't. I know Pam and her office can't, obviously. She just stated, she just stated. We need them. We do. I don't think it needs to be, I think it needs to be on the same page where we need to communicate effectively. It needs to be one primary contact, so not everybody is contacting
Right.
Baker Tilly with all these
But if
questions.
we don't call them, they're not gonna be charging anything.
Right.
Right.
They're gonna,
Yes.
they're gonna charge us by whenever we call, and that's the reason the ARP committee, we need to come up with a contact person and also not call for one question. Let's have a few questions when we, to
Well,
call
it depends on
them.
what the question, what the question is, but.
Yeah, well, basically, our first question is the money we've already said we're giving out, are we doing this correctly? We
Right.
want to make sure that's correct, our first step.
I mean, from what I heard with their presentation to the commissioners, and from what Pam stated and what have you, I think without a doubt, it's a have to, with all the complications.
Just to
I think
have
the
that
city-
confidence.
the city's
Well, there's so
also
many
using
federal
it, too.
requirements that if we
Absolutely.
don't do it right, state board
Kelly, did the
council will
city
come
agree
back.
with- Did they sign it,
They
Baker?
signed theirs, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
With
So-
Baker, you guys
Yep.
said?
Mhm.
Okay.
And we
So-
set aside 1% allocation, which ours was 16,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just with the federal requirements alone,
Just
just to
Yeah.
make sure
I
we're,
didn't even see here.
We'll be well worth it.
yeah, because otherwise
I'll
we're
make
It's
pushing
actually,
it
it's a
back.
pretty small fee.
It's really not. I mean, I think it's very beneficial. Think about that fee versus what we could get in trouble for later down the road.
And pay
So
it
I
all-
think it's
pay it all
very,
back.
absolutely.
Especially with those where they may subsidize it or whatever.
Right,
That's where.
right.
That's the ones that we need to make
Right.
sure.
I think the
they're
way
right.
you guys have it is great so that, you still have control over the questions and how much is going to be charged and everything, so.
I'll make a motion we allow it, or do you need a motion of 10, or we go ahead and?
A motion of intent.
Intent.
Motion of
Intent.
10, okay.
I'll second
All
And
in
then as
favor?
soon as-
signify by
Motion of
saying-
intent, I guess, if the commissioners.
As soon as that gets
Commissioners
going, we can
approved.
set up our next
The
ARP
attorney
meeting.
should be, Chris comes up with something different.
And I assume they will be doing this, what, July 5th? Their
We'll
next
make sure
meeting.
it's on that agenda.
And David, I'm going to abstain because I am on the ARP.
That's okay.
You guys have enough?
Keith, he seconded?
You guys have
He
enough
said
without
it.
you, right?
Huh?
You have enough without you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, 4 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank you, because this will also help us plan our next ARP meeting.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Warren?
I got a question on the ARP money then. For county offices, is there a separate application or what does it like for the coroner's office, what do I have to do? Is there a separate application for county or county offices?
It's a separate request.
Right, and that's coming down the line, and we
Okay.
said that'll probably be in stage 3, when we go into infrastructure and probably government.
Okay.
We want to take care of what we've got right now.
I knew there's some computers bought for the county, but that was,
The-
was frozen.
Yeah, that was, the county assumed all the money for a profit loss. But the agreement is ARP makes a motion to the commissioners and then to the council for the okay. We're saying that we're going to get to that stage down the road. But, like I said, we've drug our feet for so long and froze the money, we need to get it opened back up so we can start.
We
Tara?
do need to establish a process for that, for internal.
Right.
An internal process for
Right.
that.
Because at one time we talked about, applying also, but the application process that we have right now is just nonprofit, small business, and mental health. So there'll have to be another application.
Coroner's office, nonprofit.
Well, there should be mental health.
Well, that's pretty serious.
Charlie?
Yes.
Because you can't do that only anymore.
Speaking of
You can't do more than
county
that.
offices and computers, did Kevin, did you and Kevin talk about?
We got to take care of. Actually, I talked to Anjan about getting one from the treasurer's office, but the assessor's office had one that was almost brand new. So he's gotten it. I'm sure he has by now. It's set up, everything's fine. So it's been taken care of.
Anjan was in there working tonight.
So, and he won't have to put it in his budget.
Hey, Tara, should we have specified a specific amount for this, for 37,500?
Or 1%, or
It's
how?
1%.
1%.
I know, but should we make that in that motion too that Paul made, because that way,
Yeah.
1%.
okay, not to exceed,
Okay, you gonna redo it, or?
Yeah, maybe we need to be.
or I'll just add it on here, not to
Or just
exceed
not to exceed
1% of the total amount.
Okay, I'll make
Yeah,
that motion.
1%.
Are you amending the motion?
I think so.
We're just adding that amount.
Pop clarifying it,
Just-
just be on the safe side.
I think we're on agreement. there.
Yeah,
I'll make the motion with the amendment,
okay.
not to exceed 1%.
I'll still abstain.
And I'll put Keith, and we'll put 401 again. Okay, got it.
Okay, the next item is discussion on comp time for transfer of employees within the courthouse.
This came up, and again, I'm walking on eggshells, but what took place is we had these lateral transfers. And in the handbook, it says vacation and seniority. Only things talked about is comp time is how many hours you could make and how soon you have to do it. My concern was if somebody left, and Pam, I'm going to use your office, that somebody left your office, went to the recorder's office and had, let's say, 35 hours of comp time. Now the recorder's office is taking responsibility for it. I feel like the department that it's earned should take care of that, not the new department, because A, she went from one department to a smaller department, that's really going to put them in a bind, because if she's only got 2 months, because you have 6-month window to use your comp time. If she comes in there and there's only 2 months left and she's got to take a week off, that puts them behind the 8 ball. And the reason I'm bringing it up, I think it's a financial thing for the council because it's not in the handbook. But what I'd like to do is make a motion that we send this to the handbook committee and let you guys sit down, and this would be one of the priority things that you do for the future. Because when I talked to Jane about it, she wasn't even aware of it. So that's my concern. I think it should be brought up. My opinion, it should be taken care of by the department that they're leaving, because it's already in their budget that either they take the time off before they transfer and it's paid out of the original salary from that office that they left, because that's where they accumulated it. And my other example would be, let's say somebody from the health department decides to transfer to the auditor's office and they've got over 100 hours of comp time. I don't think you guys want to take that on to your...
Okay, so Mike, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What I'm worried about is then how are we how would that, like, okay, let's just say my one that is transferred over. How would I take care of that? I mean, because if they're already needing the person over there,
No.
they can't take off. How am I gonna pay that? Am I gonna pay that out? Because then that delays that department even longer
Right now, there's
to be
not
able
been
to
a
hire
decision,
somebody.
but This is just a
What's the
discussion.
handbook say?
So I guess
about
I'm curious to how this would
Well,
work.
my
it?
thoughts.
What's the handbook say about
It
it?
doesn't say
It doesn't
anything
say.
about that.
My thoughts on that is that you would probably treat as if the same way you do if that person left the building and went to work somewhere else. Who would pay for that?
I just think it needs to come from the department
No.
where it was earned. That's my biggest thought.
If those employees were going outside the courthouse,
You're gonna pay them off.
you would have to pay them off out of the auditor's office or whoever. So to me, you'd follow the same,
Yeah.
I think you would follow the same.
Sorry, I have a question about when they go to a job that pays more, because there was recently a situation where that happened, where someone was at this pay grade and they went to this pay grade and they took, I'm assuming took their comp time hours to the higher pay grade. Does that,
Well,
do they, I mean,
You'll be
should
paid off
it
the
not
higher.
be paid out at the pay grade that it was earned? Because
Right,
I believe it
and
should.
that's my
I think it should be
basic.
paid.
No,
I think it should be paid
the
out of the-
responsibility of the original
I
office.
mean, I'm just curious.
However we
I
want to
think
handle
that's
it, but
probably-
I stir enough, I want it passed on to the handbook committee.
okay, so is that your motion?
That's my motion.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
It's gonna have to be taken care of.
5-0. I think I'm on that committee.
Yeah, you are. You and,
And I think I am too.
You and Lynn, I think.
Anything else?
Vacation time rollover.
Yes, it transfers, it's already in the minutes, I mean, in the handbook.
So if they had 10 weeks of vacation time, we have
Well-
to cut them a check,
It's always been
they
an
leave,
issue.
go outside the system.
Yes,
Wow.
before you could, and that would come out of the salary, before you could even bring somebody in, they would have to pay that out and have to wait that much time. It's happened.
So you're only talking about comp time here because.
Comp time is all we're talking about.
Okay, because vacation could work
No.
the same way.
Well, I'm not,
So,
the comp time is the one that
Okay.
bothers me.
okay.
Because as far as vacation, you're a county employee. So that should I think that should transfer. The comp time was earned in that department.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the same difference, just like Kelly said, if you're making
Vacation?
$12 an hour in this office, and you've got 5 weeks, just saying 5 weeks vacation, and then you move up to this office, your first day on the job, at $15 an hour, you've made pretty good financial gain there.
But again, that's things that happen, you know.
That's the
very
reason
seldom-
we need,
right,
that's the reason
very
this
seldom.
comp time has to be figured out.
Okay, anything else? If not, I'm going to entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all for coming.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's hard to kind of figure out because